Chiron and Aries energy conjuncted, it blended with the energy of the sun on April 8th during the big solar eclipse in the new moon in Aries. So what does it mean for our wounds, our weaknesses, when expressed outwardly? So my intention for this video is to help you to understand how the energy of the Chiron and Aries sun conjunction felt, how it looked, and what you can reflect, journal on to start looking at your shadows, your beliefs that were formed out of fear, and the repeated behaviors that are expressed due to those beliefs, and do the inner work, the shadow work, that is part of your self-discovery, your healing, to support your well-being, your health, your joy, and your prosperity. So grab your notebook and your journal and something to write with. Feel free to grab some tea and a candle, and let's get started. Welcome to Dvn Bluprnt, where we help you to awaken the divine design in you. Now on April 8th, as part of the big solar eclipse in the new moon in Aries, Chiron and Aries conjuncted, it blended with the sun. And that conjunction, that blending, put in an external spotlight on our wounds and how it will affect our willpower to achieve our goals. Now, Chiron has been in the zodiac sign of Aries since 2018, and it will stay in Aries until 2027. Now, this Chiron in Aries will retrograde starting July 26th, and it will stay retrograded until December 29th of this year. Now, once it's retrograde, it will cause us to look at our wounds and our weaknesses from an internal point of view. For now, how are you expressing your wounds, your weaknesses externally? Now, for those who are new to Chiron, Chiron is an asteroid that sits between Saturn and Uranus, and it holds the energy of your deep-rooted psychological wound. This wound can be either from a previous lifetime or from your childhood. Now, to find your wound, this weakness, you can check out the house, which will show the area of your life, and the zodiac sign, which will tell you the characteristics of this wound that your Chiron is in. And this information is located in your natal chart, and it will help you to get a better understanding of what you came here to view, what you came here to accept and transform, so that you can start healing it. Now, transforming Chiron is an important part of what is known as your key life passage. You see, this key life passage starts between the ages of 29 to 30 with your Saturn return, and this passage contains a series of spiritual testing of different aspects of yourself, and Chiron is the last spiritual testing in this passage. This Chiron testing starts between the ages of 49 and 51, and when Chiron returns back to the same position it was in the day you were born. Now, if you started working on this Chiron prior to your Chiron return, then it makes going through this testing much easier because you'll have the energy, the life force fuel that you'll need to continue throughout your life. And if you're past the age of 51, you can still work on transforming your Chiron. This transformation will allow you to capture back your energy, your life force fuel, and to help you to live out the remaining part of your life with ease and flow. Now, to help you, I have 2 offers where you can work with me, where I can help guide you with your Chiron. The first opportunity, if you're interested, is in diving deep into learning how you can start working on transforming this wound. We offer an in-depth Chiron reading, and to learn more about that and how you can book this reading, you can click the link in the description box. The second opportunity is to work directly with me in my 9-week training, where I guide you out of the struggle, your procrastination, your lack of motivation, your depletion of energy, the crisis you are in due to not building, not strengthening, and maintaining your physical, your emotional, and mental, spiritual aspects of yourself that has caused you to wear many masks and instead of showing up as yourself. So let me guide you with removing those masks and move you into pleasure, because this is a time for you. Now, to learn more about this 9-week training, you can click the link in the description box. So let's break down this energy. The sun embodies the masculine energy. This energy is self-projecting. It knows who it is and its purpose, and therefore it uses its willpower to achieve its goals. The sun energy also empowers the Leo 5th house energy, which is related to self-expression. It's desiring to express the creative things it loves, such as its children, its love affair, its hobbies, and all things that give it pleasure. Now, Chiron in Aries embodies the wounded energy of the self, the weakness of its self-image, its appearance, its personality, the weakness of its self-awareness, its willpower, its independence. This energy is looking to be viewed, it's looking to be accepted and transformed in order to start healing. Now, since we are in an 8th year, a year where the energy embodies wisdom, wealth, and power, how will this Chiron and Aries weakness affect you in your life? What area of your life does this Chiron and Aries show up in? And as I mentioned in the earlier part of this video, in order to figure out where your Chiron is in, you'll need to check your natal chart. Now remember, Chiron is your wound, your weakness, what you either over or undercompensate for in your life. So when reflecting and journaling on the questions, you want to keep that in mind, as well as how can you accept and transform this wound. Now it's time to grab your journaling tools. So here's how it will affect you and what you can reflect and journal on. If your Chiron is in your 1st house or its zodiac sign is Aries, then it will affect your identity. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. Now here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you see yourself and why? What is the self-image that you display to the world, and does it reflect how you see yourself? Why? How do you express your confidence, your independence, your anger, your fear, and why? Now, if Chiron is in your 2nd house or its zodiac sign is in Taurus, then it will affect your core, your personal values. Here's what you can reflect and journal on. What are your physical and material values, and why? How do you secure yourself financially, and why? What makes you feel stable, and why? Now, if Chiron is in your 3rd house or its zodiac sign is in Gemini, then it will affect your logical mind. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you take in information, your learning capabilities, and why? How do you process your information, the way you think? Why? How do you vocally communicate that information, and why? Now, if Chiron is in your 4th house or its zodiac sign is in Cancer, then it will affect your sense of safety. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you nurture yourself? How do you receive, and why? How do you nurture others? How do you give, and why? And how do you nurture your home, your family? How do you feel safe, and why? Now, if Chiron is in your 5th house or zodiac sign is in Leo, then it will affect your creative expression. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you creatively express yourself, and why? How do you have fun, and why? How do you express love, your romance, to your children, and why? How do you evaluate risk, and how do you take risk, and why? Now, if your Chiron is in your 6th house and its zodiac sign is in Virgo, then it will affect your service. So here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you work? And what type of environment do you enjoy working in? And why? How do you create your habits, your schedules, and routines? And how do you follow through on them? And why? How do you take care of your health? And why? Now, if your Chiron is in your 7th house or its zodiac sign is in Libra, then it will affect your relationships. So here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you partner, have relations, your agreements with others, and why? How do you exchange your power? Are you dependent, independent, or interdependent, and why? How do you create balance between yourself and others, and why? Now, if your Chiron is in your 8th house or its zodiac sign is in Scorpio, then it will affect your obsessions. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you trust and create intimacy with yourself, and why? How do you trust and create intimacy with others? Why? How do you let go and renew things in your life, and why? And how do you respect yourself and respect others, and why? Now, if Chiron is in your 9th house and its zodiac sign is in Sagittarius, then it will affect your sense of higher purpose. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. What are your higher beliefs, such as your religion or your spirituality, science, etc.? And why? And how does this or these beliefs affect your sense of purpose in the world? And why? How does this or these beliefs affect the way you expand your knowledge of the world? And why? And how does these or this belief affect the way you see the world? And why? Now, if your Chiron is in your 10th house or its zodiac sign is in Capricorn, it will affect the purpose of your work. So here's what you can reflect and journal on. What is your purpose of work, such as your gifts or your talents that you are given, that you give to the world, and why? How do you identify with this work, and why? How do you demonstrate this work, and why? And how do you flow with the ups and downs of this work, and why? Now, if your Chiron is in your 11th house or your zodiac sign is in Aquarius, then it will affect your sharing. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. How do you share your ideals, your knowledge, your innovation with others, and why? How do you use your ideals, your knowledge, your innovation to build your community, and why? And how will your ideals, your knowledge, your innovations make an impact in the world, and why? And last, if your Chiron is in your 12th house or its zodiac sign is in Pisces, then it will affect your transformation. And here's what you can reflect and journal on. What is your perception of your reality, and does it reflect what is actually going on in your life, and why? How will you let go and embrace change to transform, and why? How will you deal with the up and the downs in your life, and why? How will you face your reality instead of trying to escape it, and why? Now, feel free to pause the video to start reflecting and journaling on the questions that are related to your Chiron placement. Now, the last thing I would like to mention before ending this video is that while you are processing your emotions related to your Chiron, it is important to create some form of grounding practice to help you to stay balanced and stay connected with your spiritual support team. These are your ancestors, your guides, your higher self, God, and the divine. And if you're interested in diving deep into learning how you can start working on transforming your Chiron wound, we offer an in-depth Chiron reading. Now, to learn more about that, you can book a reading, then click the link in the description box, or join me in my 9-week training where I guide you out of struggle, out of your procrastination, your lack of motivation, your depletion of energy, the crisis you are in due to not building, not strengthening, and not maintaining your physical, your emotional, and mental, spiritual aspects of yourself that has caused you to wear way too many masks instead of showing up as yourself. So, let me guide you with removing those masks and moving you into pleasure, because now is a time for you. Now you can learn more about my 9-week training by clicking the link in the description box. So during this time, do the inner work, the shadow work, and start viewing, accepting, and transforming this wound, this weakness, so that you can start healing it. And if you haven't already liked, then please like so others can see, and share so that others can learn and heal. Subscribe and hit that notification button to be notified when a new video has been posted. Feel free to leave a comment to let us know how your Chiron is affecting you and what you are doing to start the healing. Did you know that there's a wisdom that has been hidden deep inside? This wisdom is desiring to express itself, and we can help you uncover your inner wisdom with a human design reading. Our human design readings vary from a simple profile reading to advanced reading that focuses on aligning you to your soul vision and to awaken your divine blueprint. So if you are ready to uncover your inner wisdom, the link is in the description box. Now, let me leave you with this. Your divine blueprint is your original essence. It's who you truly are. Underneath all the disappointment, frustration, resentment, anger, and more, it's your true, authentic self. The ultimate goal is to express unconditional love and experience it. It starts with awareness of you, and leading with an open heart. So it's a perfect time to continue to awaken the divine design in you. See you in the next video.